So let me share a few thoughts about what sets Voiceform apart and why sometimes you should use Voiceform instead of other survey platforms. But first, let me just illustrate my background with survey design. So I'm a researcher. I've done numerous survey studies, like large scale, also very small scale, both quantitative and qualitative and mixed, of course. But additionally, I also have a background in like market research. So I think I can speak to both those populations interested in academic research, but also those populations that are more interested in, hands-on practical advice for market research, for getting product feedback, etc. I do believe that survey systems are one of the most important tools in anyone's toolkit, to be honest. So also for as a teacher, for instance, you want to establish that loop back from your students to yourself, like feedback loops. And for something like that, surveys are also just working very nicely. And also, I don't want to really camouflage my history in terms of that I'm really a supporter of Lime Survey. This was one of the first online courses that I've actually generated, and I still use Lime Survey today, and I think it's a fascinating platform. But Voiceform really enters with a completely different functionality, and it is this functionality that sets itself apart from other survey platforms that will be the focus of this course. The Voiceform is great because it allows you to get answers, get responses in a format that are much more natural for the respondents. And that is, they can speak to your survey using their own voice and they don't need to type out the answer. And that is really something that makes a lot of difference. Because if you imagine a survey that is maybe like quantitatively driven, but then you also may have some qualitative comments in between, to be honest, you can assume that no one fills out those qualitative responses that are, mixed into the survey. And even if there are maybe some people that do spend some time on it, it often will be, just too superficial to make anything useful with this. You're getting like one-word responses about something where you just need more context, right? And this is really the problem that is solved by Voiceform, as it allows you to just take, 20 seconds, 40 seconds maybe, to just talk about a topic that is of interest to you. And those 20, 40 seconds, whatever it is, will allow you to get much more detail, to just, say much more about the topic than what you would normally type. So that is the great thing that really sets Voiceform apart to its competitors. On the other hand, you need to understand that this is really the main functionality on which you should base your survey. All the other functionalities are kind of underdeveloped, right? So like survey logics and all that kind of stuff that you often need for like large scale quantitative surveys. This might get difficult with Voiceform, but as I said, this is not really the point, I think, of Voiceform. It's really about, having short surveys of like say 3, 4, 5 open-ended questions, very qualitatively driven, and to get a lot of insight from those answers, right? So that, at least in my experience, has worked extremely well. And as such, I would position Voiceform as an inherently mixed method, because you can get the scale of like a quantitative survey, but also the depth of information that you normally only get from qualitative methods like interviews, etc. So I think Voiceform is like the ideal blend between those 2 points, and I would really recommend to focus on applications that need that kind of blend.